Let's bring in the experts, Seth Denson, business and market analyst, and also Hilary Fordwich, global business consultant. Welcome into you both.
Good to be here.
Pleasure to be.
You know, Hilary, you are global, and you know that Sky anchor, that host, she's one of my favorites because she always has this viral moment talking about Joe Biden. What did you make of her reaction? I mean, the world is looking. It's not just here in America, and they're shaking their heads. We know what's going on. We see what's also happening in the Red Sea that's driving up the global economy there with the Houthi rebels.
Yes, you're right, Bianca. And I thought actually when Christina brought us that report, Rita's always right from Sky. She's very, very accurate. And that's from down under. But I will say the reason our president is called the leader of the free world is the world really, at least the Western world and those democracies like the UK, I can tell you that the British have always really admired and looked to America for leadership. And that's what they find scary. You see reports across the UK for that. And I will say, with regard to this shrinkflation, here he was in this controlled press conference. It's not just Bidenomics, it's also his environmental policies. Because yes. Bianca, just take eggs. Do you know there are 11 taxes through the end of the supply chain, the entire supply chain, that affect and impact the cost of eggs? So it's both the environmental policies as well as his economic policies that are compounding it, let alone the fact that the price of gas obviously affects absolutely everything. We only try to bring that down from releasing supply from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, and that's... Yeah.
You're right. Energy is a huge part of this. And you really don't need an economics degree to know this. And that's what I think is so painful here, that they actually thought that this would go over people's heads now, Seth. I mean, that's insulting, I think. That's insulting to American people that they're going to try to gaslight on something that, you know, basic numbers show that he caused this.
Right, Bianca. What you're hearing is this constant, I equate it to a weatherman telling me it's bright and sunny outside, but yet I look out the window and it's pouring rain, right? It doesn't take an economics professor or somebody that understands that to realize that their wallet and the money in it isn't going as far as it once did. About 12% of all goods are experiencing shrinkflation, but about 46% of Americans are actually seeing it right now. And the problem is the stock market is not the supermarket. And what happens is a lot of times this White House will go out and tout the stock market, which, by the way, they took the Trump administration to task on, but they do that. But the reality is most Americans, they're voting based on what's happening at the supermarket. And right now, that margin, it's getting moved to them.
Well, let's talk about the Super Bowl for a moment. This is kind of wild. If you forked over, if you had that type of money to go and buy the tickets, and then you get there, Allegiant Stadium was offering nachos for $60. Now, no margaritas, guys. I mean, yes, there were some steak and a little bit of lobster, and then a souvenir shot glass filled with salsa. Would you pay $60 for no margaritas and just nachos, Hilary?
Well, actually, what I do, here's my tip for everybody. Share it with your best friend, your buddy, and that way you pay half the price and have half the calories, and you win.
I like the half the calories. And maybe it's a corporate trip, Seth. $60 though, and not even the shot glass is just filled with some pico de gallo. I love a good salsa, but come on.
I made my own homemade salsa, and that's the way I enjoyed the game last night, Bianca. But the reality is, if you were spending the 11 grand, which was the average price of the ticket, and 2 miles away it cost $250 to park, probably $60 nachos were the last thing you were overly concerned about.
I'm sure Taylor Swift can afford them for her private jet when they catered it to fly wherever she wants with all her carbon footprint. Sorry, I have 10 seconds, Hilary. Yes, miss.
I was just going to say, captive audience. This is happening not just at the Super Bowl, it's happening everywhere, particularly at movie theaters, and they're desperate to get America back after COVID. Wherever there's a captive audience, eat before you go or share with your friend and get half the calories.
There you go. Or get Seth's salsa recipe when we get back next time. Guys, good to have you in. Thanks so much. Fun conversation.
Thanks,
Pleasure.